Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me fine? Welcome. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming tonight on this cold night. In fact, it's starting, this little cold weather we've had, it's starting to put us in the mood for the holidays, right? So you're all ready for tonight's demonstration. I'm Shirley Decker, and I'm the director of Roots and Branches, and this is Jenny Conley, and she's the assistant director, and she will be introducing our speakers in just a minute. I want to just say one or two things about Roots and Branches, because I know a few of you may be new and not as familiar with us, but our mission is to improve the environment within the city of West Bend, and we do this through all of our programs, and you've gotten brochures at your seats, so be sure to take a look at it, because we do a lot of fun things besides tonight. I know I was talking to someone a few minutes ago about the fact that we're making kissing balls tomorrow. We have about 25, 30 people coming in to make kissing balls, and that is a lot of fun. People love to do that, and we're selling them over at the Museum of Wisconsin Art this weekend. So there are a lot of fun things that we are doing, so we hope that you will get on our email list. This isn't to bug you, but it lets you know what's happening, so be sure to get on our email list. And I think that's all I needed to say, Jenny, so why don't you introduce our speakers, and thank you for coming. Good to see all of you.
Hi, like Shirley said, my name is Jenny Conley. I'm the assistant to Roots and Branches. I guess first tonight I'd like to thank Johnson Nursery, our sponsor for our seminar series for this year. And then I'm going to be passing around a clipboard, and we'd like you to share your ideas for future seminar topics. It helps our seminars chair bring our speakers for next year and have you guys fill this room and make it a lot of fun for everyone. And then without short ado, we'll introduce Tina. Tina has been with the Wreath Factory for nearly 20 or over 20 years, right, in Otter Creek. She's a maverick of design, and according to her, her most loved part of the job is being able to help and create things to match the style of each customer. You create for the person you are helping, which gives you the opportunity to be creative. So let's welcome Tina.
Well, thank you so much for having us here. We'd love to come out and share our knowledge and share our creativity. Today I have with me my helper, Hope. She's been at the Wreath Factory for 13 years, and she'll be helping me throughout the process and helping decorate. And we've got a lot of fun things to show you, and we'll leave a little time for questions at the end. So we're first going to start with a little bit of the history of the Wreath Factory. We started out by making fresh Christmas wreaths for the Johnsonville Hustlers 4-H Club. And they did so for a fundraiser so that they could fund behind their 4-H club and do trips and so forth and all their events. So Michael Beck, who was part of the Johnsonville Hustlers 4-H club, decided to help them, which has got us where we are today. This particular wreath right here, she's going to hold up. This one's really fresh. It was made at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Our wreaths came in, and on Friday, we've started our wreath operations, where we'll make fresh Christmas wreaths up until Christmas. The balsam and the cedar and the pine are generally used in the making of a base of most wreaths, but we also add other things like eucalyptus and other dried products along the way. She's going to flip it over real quick to show you what the back kind of looks like. There's a ring on the back, and all these hand folds are clipped in, laid one on top of each other. Marilyn, who makes this, has been helping us out for years, and she can make this probably in about 8 minutes. So if you need something to do, kill some time, want to come out and make wreaths for us. We're always looking for new wreath makers, and we take any ages. Our oldest wreath maker, when he retired at the age of 86, so anybody is possible. So as we go along, she's going to be decorating the fresh one, and I brought along an artificial run, and I'll be talking about different things as we go along. And just giving you some tips of the trade as we go. So she's going to start. I don't know exactly what her design is because she's going to make it up as she goes. Hope does all the a lot of the decorating of all the group wreaths that go out by us, so she's got lots of experience. I'm going to start by, for those who use artificial, prefer artificial like in the house, my first lesson for you is when you buy this, fluff it. So that's what a lot of people make the mistake of doing, is they don't fluff it. But it gives it all that more dimension. One of the things that she's using that we have in between us is a glue pot, which, I'm just going to lift it up. It's an electric frying pan. The electric frying pan allows us to be hands-free instead of a glue gun. And these little babies, they work really well. I don't have my oldie moldy one here, but the one I'm using at the shop, it's on its 8th year, so they last a long time. And they, the glue pots at the shop, like my design spot, are on all day long, so about 9 hours, 10 hours a day, 365 days a year. So they last really a long time. And we just put glue pieces in there, which allows us not to have to keep grabbing for the glue gun. Back in the day when glue guns were really hot, they would burn you. Now they're not so hot. They do lower temperature ones. And this does not get as hot as a glue gun either, so, which is nice. Almost done here with the fluffing. Gives it just a little dimension. And lots of people forget to fluff when they buy silks of any kind. And we'll be using artificial and real stuff as we go along. But just by fluffing it out, it gives that little bit of more dimension to it. Take my price tag off here. And she's clipping along right there. She's putting pine cones on. Today we're gluing our pine cones on. At the shop, we actually use bands that you get for your braces, and you hold your braces together. We get bands that are big, and we use those to put the pine cones on. It holds them on nice and tight. It's a little trick of the trade. Hard to get for a layman person. They don't sell them at Michael's or Joanne Fabrics or anything like that. But they hold them on, and they withstand the temperatures changes that Wisconsin gets. Sometimes glue likes to let go, so that's why we use the pine cones on the heavy stuff. So she's working on a little design where she's got one of our newest picks that we're using, and we get all kinds of different things. These kind of look like little apples, or crab apples, as it would be, which are nice. And she's working around. I'm going to be using a little bit of ribbon. And anybody ever try to do the V at the end of a ribbon? Try to get that just right? You know, the trick of the trade is to fold your ribbon in half and cut it that way, so it comes out just right. So, if you've ever been at one of my seminars before, one of the things that I talk about is don't throw anything away. You can use it all and save it all. So, if you've just been through your craft room and think, gosh, I got so much stuff, but you can use it all. I'm going to use just a short piece of ribbon here today to show that you can use just a short piece. And ribbon isn't always about making bows. And what I'm doing is I'm wiring the ribbon on. The wind likes the ribbon, so if you are going to put anything outside, you always want to make sure your ribbon is wound tight to withstand the wind. Kind of like that so far. And we're also going to talk today about the new trends and new colors. The new color for this year that's been selling well is blue.
What?
Blue. That's second. It's number 2 on the list. Because, you know, at Christmas time, you can't beat red. Red always wins when it comes to Christmas. All shades of blue have been really selling. And I've brought along a bunch of pictures which will kind of hit a little bit show you what what things that we're doing in the showroom, and a little bit of different colors of the blue spectrum that we're using. I'm going to be using pine cones to decorate, and a few berries. If you do any kind of crafting at home, the glue pot is the way to go. The trick of the trade is that stringy stuff. To get rid of that stringy stuff, it's very easily. Use a little hair dryer on a low setting. It'll get rid of all of that extra strings that happen in there. Add a little glitz to this. And when I'm purchasing picks for a project or picking them out at the store, I usually keep in mind how many pieces can I get out of a certain piece to make it work. I'll just kind of hold it up in between so everybody can see as we go along. And we like to work in 3s and 5s. Work nice and easy numbers. Just because it lays out pretty nicely. That doesn't mean you can't do even. And one of the events that she mentioned in the beginning at the Art Museum here in town this week, I'm very honored to say that I am doing an arrangement for that, so if you get a chance to go, it's always a great event. I'll be using a large piece of birch as my base. But if you've done any decorating lately, birch is very popular still. Sharing of the pine cones. I think we were racing. You won. She won. She won. So if you'd like to hold yours up, kind of show.
You might want to walk back and forth.
Nice simple design. This ribbon is really great. It's kind of a play off the the burlap ribbon that we'd seen for a lot of years. So it does that nice burlap look, but the edge gives it just a different feel to it. So it'll change. And then the berries gives it a nice little country look. So very nice.
Could you walk over this way so we can see it too?
Stretch your stuff.
We've got this major obstacle here.
Absolutely. There are many different ways to tie a bow. And I'll have Hope show you, and I'll show you. And we tie it differently, and they both have different looks. Hope ties a bow in such that it turns out the same 100% of the time, every time. Mine is a little more willy-nilly. And one of the other things that we've done is any of the wires that we've used when we wire things on and wire things tight is we pull the wires to the top so that it doesn't scratch once we hang our wreath. They mentioned wanting to learn how to tie a bow. I think you should make it.
I do mine a little different. I mean, I guess everybody kind of does things in their own way. But I work, for me, with the Boy Scouts, I do a lot of the groups and stuff, all the boys. I do like a 24-inch wreath. We usually do the loops that's 6 inches each. And then I just, instead of all of the twisting and everything, just kind of overlap them. Especially with the wire. The wire is so forgiving, you can really work with the wire. And I always keep my thumb in the middle, so I know where the center is.
And for those of you who are left-handed, she's left-handed, so
I'm a little backwards compared to most of them. And then I'm just doing my center loop. Taking and then I put that piece underneath my thumb, still holding it all in place. And then I do tails all in one. So this is going to be the start of my tails. And then I take that piece and slip it towards the back and hold everything here. And then what you really want to do is once you get ready to wire it, make sure you wire it all through everything. The trick on the back is to make sure that you pull it tight and twist it tight. So when you start fluffing it out, you're not pulling the whole thing apart on you. And this is the tail. Start from the bottom and center loop stays in the center.
Why isn't she walking back and forth across the room?
makes it look very easy. Yes, yeah, I don't even know how many there is.
She should do her stuff, hold it up, swing that way.
Makes it look very easy. She makes most of the ribbons that we use on most of our group clothes that we send out. And we like consistency when it comes to those clothes, so that they all look the same, so when people are selling the wreaths and getting them, they can have something that has a nice unique shape, especially when they buy more than one. When trying to work with making bows, best way is to practice, but make sure you buy a ribbon with the wired edge. That is, there's cheaper ribbon out there, but you will have more success with the wired edge. So definitely, if you're going to do that. So,
What's the length of ribbon you started with? Well, how much ribbon do you need to make that bow?
Make this one.
probably about 3 yards, 3-4 yards.
And that's just with the 3 loops on each side, right? You could make it fuller, but yeah, it's about 3 to 4 yards a bowl.
With that, I've done just a little bit different design in the artificial part. I've used a little bit of the artificial look, different greens and icy stuff, which you could use in the fresh wreath too. Just something a little bit different that you can hang up any which way you like. It gives it just a little bit different, fresh appearance to it. So. Oh, sure. Never mind the blue string, because we didn't bring the hairdryer along today. As I said before, we'll talk a little bit about different trends that are happening and a few ideas that can help you spruce up your Christmas decorations. Because if I had a guess, it would show of hands, who has more than 2 boxes of Christmas decorations? More than 3? More than 10? So we all have boxes and boxes of new and old ones that we've collected over the years. And sometimes you just need a way to spruce up what you already have and add things to it. For us Christmas junkies in the room, you want something to give it fresh a little bit every year, but you can't continue adding to the boxes because otherwise you need to add to the house, and not everybody's happy about that, and that never always goes over well. So one of the things that we will suggest to people is to add a new ribbon. Make it consistent throughout the house, gives things a fresh look. It's economical, and it's a fun way to change the look, or add a new pick. And what I mean by pick is like this kind of stuff. Throughout your tree, throughout your wreaths or your archways, things like that. So by just doing something like that, you can really give things a different look. Some of the ones that I'm going to show you today are all different colors, and some you may have things at home. Don't underestimate a great canvas restoration. If you have something at home that needs a little sprucing up, has seen a little bit wear that you may not necessarily use as looking kind of pilgrim, Rust-Oleum does great things. Recommendation would be to spray it outside for two things, both the fumes and two, the air. The wind is helpful when when you're using a spray can and to change something. You want it to disperse, you don't want it to get clumpy, and you don't want it to run. So a little bit of breeze always helps. So definitely do that. But think about that when you've got twigs and you're cutting things down in the garden, and you maybe want to add something to your tree before you take it all to the curb. Can I spray it a different color and throw it in the tree? Can you make it gold? Can you make it silver? Can you make it red? Or because they have so many options out there, the Rust-Oleum, and they're so easy to use. For those of you who are thinking, gosh, it just went out to the curb last week. Lots of times you can go to the recycling area and then pick that stuff up. And then you have to explain at home why you're picking it up again. I just got rid of that. Yeah. So if you do have things that are seeing a little bit, don't be afraid to go ahead and give them a shot of a little bit of spray paint. So that's an easy way to tie things together and to really make them get a fresh look. Another item that I'd like to share with you is lights. Everybody has lights that they normally use. Maybe it's colored, maybe it's white. Change it up. Change the color of your lights this year, or in a section, change the color of the lights. I'm going to show you some fun lights that we carry that make that really easy. These lights are great in the fact that they fill up. So let's say you have a tree that you want to do a little bit something different. You can lay this over a white lighted tree also. And they got all these little fingers, as it would be, and it fills up a tree really easy. And these particular lights have a remote, not a remote, but a settings, and you can do 8 different settings with each of these. And they fill up an area really fast, which is nice. I'm going to run through some of the settings. And for somebody who's ever taken lights off of a tree that really have died, this is a great alternative than covering that tree again. It's one of those things where it fills in really nicely and gives a nice cool appearance to it. And like I said, it has all different kinds of settings, so if you want it to be wild and crazy in your house, you can change color if you want it. This is really nice. That being said, we also have a color version of that. Here. And the color version of that works really well. This too has a number of different settings. That they'll go through different colors. And what I like about these lights is it fills in. If you're going to use it on a mantle, it works really well because you only need one and you don't need to wrap it in. And with the black cord, it hides it all. It disappears. You don't see it, which is very nice.
I do. I know.
And you don't have to spend a lot of time digging around the lights.
That was right.
You can have those at the shop. Like I said, they have all kinds of different colors and options. These are called S4 lights. It's a commercial grade light. We have a set. We have a set in the shop that has been burning for 2 years that goes on every day. So Very good set of lights.
We were wondering if they could be used outdoors.
Yes, indoor, outdoor, absolutely. Absolutely, indoor, outdoor. And like I said, they've been going for 2 years. We're going to see how long they last, and, you know, we'll let you know. We'll have to check that. They're going strong, which is really good.
These
Are 75.
For how many feet?
Can we see it back here?
And then we have another
Can you bring it back?
that's shorter, that's about 9 feet. So, but they're going to last. And the nice thing about it is they're very durable. If you get a chance to come up and see it later, there's just a little bitty light on the end of here. It's just, I mean, it's not one like you can wrap this up and put this in a box and it'll come out working. You know, sometimes you unplug it, you don't get prime. But these are very easy to work with. And we like them just because of that. We'll be decorating for customers and come in and decorate and then box it up and take it with us and store it at our shop for them. So we like things that keep them out to work. So this is good. So that's an idea to change things up, is to change the color of the lights. One of the other new things, if you look to the right here, we have a little tree up at stand. And this is kind of a new tree stand style. As people, sometimes when you get older, you maybe don't have time to decorate a whole tree. Don't want to decorate a whole tree. You don't have use your tree, you don't put the whole thing up. This is a great way to put a tree up. I can put that tree in here if I want. And a tree like this one allows you to decorate. Don't need half as much. So those are 20 boxes. They're out of luck. Some will grab that. But very nice appearance. In fact, that it's simplistic, yet it still makes it good. And on the other hand, just up your own. But it is one of those fun stands. Another little trick of the trade, if your time is running short, you can't get your whole tree up, as long as you don't have one of those quick connects where that tree comes together by just plugging it in the core of the tree as it goes together, you don't precipitate it. You put a small portion of your tree up when you're running out of time, where the season's getting ahead of you, instead of getting stressed about it, put it on top of something else. That top that you have in the yard, you can flip it over, use it in the house as a stand instead, give it a little bit of height, and you don't have to do that very easily. So it's just one of those quick little tidbits that can help you through the season. Because you know, the big thing about the season is not to get stressed out, not to become overwhelmed with the negative. You know, the key point is turn up the music, have the fun, not go, oh my gosh, I'm going to get all this up. Get the highlights. And you can do certain things in the house to make it a little bit better for you. So let's say if you're running out of time, you put up the tree, and instead of doing the whole house, maybe do a doorway and decorate a doorway that people come through. And they can come through that doorway and see the Christmas, and you don't have to worry about all those little pieces that are set all over the place. Skip the little stuff and do the big stuff. And the doorways are fun and easy to use. And I'll give you some examples in the pictures when we get there. I did bring along these little fun guys. They come in all kinds of colors. This is also something new. They're super light, very indestructible, and are great fillers for a Christmas tree and give it a little bit of extra pizzazz. And if you decide to come up to the shop, you'll see them. They're on almost every tree. And we got them in all kinds of colors. That sounds good. They're easy to put on. You don't have to hook them in. If it's real or artificial, they kind of hook to themselves. She's going to stick some in between there, which is really nice. It's another easy way to get a new look. You don't have to buy all new ornaments. Add one piece or element that might go along with that look. So you do, let's say you do the big ones, 5 or 7 is always a good way to start on a front-facing tree. Gives it a look. I brought all kinds of different colors because I wanted to show you what we all have. But they fill in. And even when you stick them like inside, it pulls, it gives dimension to the color of the tree. And fills in really nicely. So those are very fun. And like I said, we have them different colors, different sizes, and they're indestructible, which is really nice. Besides that, we can always do different things with ribbon, but I'll show you a little bit with different picks. I brought a couple different colors along, and so some of that's gold and some of that's almost a mixed color and has a little bit of color to it. And we call things cleaner colors when they fall in between the choices. And when looking to make a change, sometimes that makes life just that much easier to find something that falls in between. So if this is gold, to most people would find this being gold.
I don't think that looks good on a tree.
It's like just your department stores.
And we're sticking gold in with it. And alone, those almost look silver or coppery in color. But if you put it to the gold, it'll lean more to gold than it will. And she's using the branches when she's sticking these pieces in to give the tree a little bit of dimension. She's pulling them out so they're not tight in the center of it. You want it out so it gives it dimension. And for those of you who are very conscious about what they're spending for their Christmas budget, we're using an artificial tree, so we're very easy to put ribbon on by using just the branches itself to curl around and hold it into place. You don't need to wire it on. Just use a branch to kind of hold it together. At my house, I don't cut the ribbon that I put on my tree necessarily. And I use a fresh tree, and they're always different sizes. But there's certain ribbons that I like. But I'll take the whole roll and tuck it at the back of the tree. What I didn't use. So I don't have to cut it. Because this year it's an 8-foot, and next year it might be a 6, you know. So, don't feel like you have to cut it. You can just stick it in the back of the tree. Nobody's going to know.
And now we know.
So she's used a lot of different dimension pieces, and if you look, it kind of has different tones to it, and this starts to look more golden when it's next to the gold. So kind of keep that in mind when making choices for different ribbon or different picks. And then again, if you've got a lot at home, it don't look so good, and you want to get gold, rust gold in a can, 1, 2, 3, gold jersey. So kind of keep that in mind, and when you're looking for different things, I also brought, I'm just going to give this a shove. Now you can see how I did that ribbon in the back. And I have blue to add to the other side, because blue is popular. And I brought along some butterflies because Roots is all about nature. And so I thought, what better way to kind of talk about that? And we got some great butterflies. It has a little bit of coil look to it, which is really nice because they're very reflective. So keep that in mind. Buying things that are reflective will show light. For those who like to sit at night with just the tree on and no other light. Anything shiny looks good, especially at night. And again, she's using the branches to kind of hold it where she wants it in place. If you saw the top one, she kind of put it at an angle, which kind of wraps around, which is nice. On a fresh tree, you struggle a little bit more, but the branches too will help hold it in. So when you're decorating a fresh tree or artificial, you start with all of this stuff first, and then put your ornaments on. In particular case, I buy ornaments from every time we go on vacation. So mine are very eclectic. So by taking a trend and taking a color of ribbon or a color of pick, I can still make it all look uniform throughout the house with a tree that has everything from Mickey Mouse on it to a seashell. So, because when it comes down to really decorating a Christmas tree, you want it to be very personable, or in your house, you want it to be personal. You want it to make it feel like it's you. So add those little bit of touches, whether it's to a garland or things like that. Any questions so far?
How do you store those? You said you'll be making wreaths from now until Christmas. How do you keep them looking fresh for that time?
So if you're going to buy a wreath now, if you're going to put it up and it's going to be on the non-sunny side of the house or it has more shade, you can go ahead and put it up. Because it's cool now. If it were warm, I would say put it on the grass on the north side of the house. And lay it right on the grass. Let it get wet. If it's going to be outside, it's going to get wet anyway. And the grass will allow it to help keep in the moisture. On the back of the wreath, we spray. We have what's called, it's kind of like a locking spray, and we spray the back edges. Because when you cut the branches at the back, that's where the smell comes from. And that's where you're going to get the loss of moisture. But we actually spray the back before each wreath goes out, so whatever moisture is in there is going to stay locked in. The longest I've heard that one of our wreaths have stayed up was the 4th of July. That's the longest.
What do you spray it with?
It is a chemical, but it's a sealant of sort. It's almost like a glue. It's sticky on the back. And it just really locks that moisture in. It doesn't get on anything, it doesn't come off, but it keeps the moisture from going in. You do want to refrain from putting your fresh wreath on the floor in the garage on the concrete. That's the worst place to store it until you're ready to put it up. Because concrete draws the moisture out, and that wreath is going to dry up just laying in the garage with a, well, gosh, I just had it in the garage and looking in the sun, but really it's the concrete that's drawing that moisture out. So, north side of the house, corner of the house, on the dirt, better, let it get wet, let it get full of snow. Of course, if it gets to be a hard freeze and you're getting ready to put it up, be gentle. So, but we start making wreaths, we did on Monday, because it was our first day of production, and we'll make them all the way up till Christmas. So they last a really long time. We get a lot of compliments on how long they last. Some of the other things that I brought along are just different ribbons of the season. Birch is a very popular thing for a long time. This is kind of a secondary to birch. Ribbon is just a little bit different. So these are just little fun, different new styles or new turns on things. Buffalo check, which is the red and black checked that you see quite a bit. This is kind of like a turn on that a little bit. And we try to be a little bit forward thinking to give lots of options to everybody. So we find a couple different options. On the end here, I'm going to look at the bird seed. For the bird lovers, I have brought along, and we have a number of clients who do this, is they put bird seed on their tree in the house for Christmas. These are ornaments that you can take out and hang up on your tree inside. And when you're done, take them off and feed the birds all winter. It's a nice creative way for those who don't necessarily want to do a little bit for nature and give back a little bit to the birds in the area. We've got some great little options. There's all kinds of different bells, and those are owls and snowmen. We've got a couple wreaths and things like that. We also have birdseed that's covered in hot sauce. You may think, oh gosh, what are those birds going to think? Birds really don't have taste buds. They can't taste it. But squirrels can. So squirrels leave it alone. So that's one of those fun little facts that they can't really taste it, so to them it doesn't make any difference. It's the seeds that they're eating and getting the nutritional value out of it. And the squirrels, well, they don't like it because they don't taste it. And yes, we are sure. 100% yes. The place where we get our bird seeded is all about nature. There's no added extras and all that good stuff. They're even careful about how they put it together, what are they using the products to put it together, what holds it together, all that good stuff. So, which is really good. So something to think about. Put that on your tree this year instead, and then you can feed them all January and February. So, which is nice. Another couple of trends. Garden gnomes. You know what I know is selling? Garden gnomes are still busy and hot on the trend. That being said, one of our other things that we do at the Wreath Factory is we put large things in Christmas trees. Not necessarily always ornaments. And as a little bit later when I start going through some pictures, I'll point things out to you. What's some of your favorite things on trees? I don't think it has to just be a round ornament or a glass ornament. We do a lot of tucking things in, where you can kind of set them in and nestle them in. And in this particular case, I can use the greens to hold them in by the stake. And for that matter, you can get a couple going all the way to 8 minutes ago. You can get a couple and put different things in just to change the theme if you want to give it a theme. So, go for the kids' toy box, go for the kids' grand box, you know, their toy box. It'd be fun if the grandkids came over and saw their toys on the tree. What did they do? Get them something to talk about. Right? Berry is also, you know, like I said, red wins. Berry is the color really of the season when it comes to a color of red. We're finding that the berry colors would sell in the most, which gives you a deep, richer red. This happens to be one of my favorite picks that we have because it's nice big chunks and goes along the way. We've got all kinds of different ribbons up here that we use that are different, just to give things different looks. We use those on archways that we've done just to help warm things up and give things a nice warm feeling when you put in. Talk about fresh smell. If you have an artificial tree and want some fresh smell, that pine or spruce tree that you have out in the yard, you cut one branch off and put a little bit every day, you'll have that smell in the yard. Or you can come to the Wreath Factory where we make potpourri bags out of fresh greens, and you can have that smell in your house too, without having that chemical green smell that can come with some of the picks and sticks that you can enter into the house. So with that being said, I'll show you a few pictures and talk a little bit about some of the pictures, and then I'll have time for some questions. Okay? So, okay. So we talk a little bit about blues. This is one of the blue colors that we've seen this year, and it's selling quite a bit of. And he did bring two of the products along, like the snowflakes that are sticking out, and to give a lot of dimension to the tree. This is an example of the top of the tree, where we given it some height. To give it a look of, we got a bunch of owl things. Can everybody see? Yes. I hope they're talking loud enough to get us away from the mic a little bit, but by putting a little bit of something special on the top, if you can do something other than a regular traditional topper or a bowl. We use a lot of picks on the top, as you can see, is what folks work on. Just different collection of different blues that are very popular. This is a ladder that's hanging along our showroom. But if you have something in the kitchen where you hang your pots off of, things like that, it's a great place to put a little Christmas decoration on there, which is nice to give your house a little bit of warm feeling in the kitchen where everybody always ends up in the kitchen at Christmas time. So the best cookies are still in the kitchen. You know? This is just a simplistic tree, which has just a few items on it, and that's one of those things where if you're busy, you can do something very simple. It doesn't have to be over the top of the way. And it has the two items on it. Two ornaments and a couple picks. For those who maybe want to steal from the garage, a couple of these things are my husband's. The fishing rod at the top and things like that is just a different trendy tree that maybe for a change of pace. If you also look, there are pillows in that tree, which really builds things up. You don't have to use so much stuff. You can use big things. Coppery gold, kind of pink color, is very popular in this too, especially with the deep red. This tree has gray in it. So the trends for houses right now are leading to gray. There's gray on the outside, there's gray on the inside. Instead of the browns, it's more grays is what the trends are leading to. And gender neutral is what they're talking about, so where design is going. So it's not really all those different colors. We're talking about more gender neutral. So we did a tree this year with just gray ornaments and silver just to see how that would turn out and how to make it look. This same tree, use something large to stay at the top. The only thing I recommend is make sure you weight your tree and know the weight of your tree so that the tree doesn't come over. That can be accomplished by weighting it at the bottom, or in this particular case, it's tied to the wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm fine.
It's tied to the wall in two places. But it's kind of fun, you know. Sometimes the guys like to have a tree kind of with their look and their thing, so that's why we have a moose on the top of this one. Something a little bit different. These are the deco balls that we kind of showed you that fill in. More of a modern look in this particular case. Very easy. Not one of them is hung on the branch. They're all just shoved in the tree, which is really nice for.
Where's the tree?
This is just kind of showing a doorway where you can really outline the doorway and tie it together, like just repeating. So we've done our archways this year. As you can see around, this is around the edge of it, but you can do some silk flowers and some garlands. Don't feel like it needs to be the same all the way to the bottom. We definitely have more at the top. And none of that's glued in, it's just set in very gently. And as long as you're not using the door regularly or in a windy spot, you can definitely use the garland itself to hold everything into place. Another example of that. Our little owl tree. This is an upside down tree. If you've never heard or seen one of the upside down trees, it's truly a Polish tradition at home. And it was designed when houses were small. And they would actually put the tree on the ceiling. They didn't have all the room to put everything underneath. So they would nail the tree to the ceiling and decorate the tree kind of upside down. So, upside down. One color on the tree is the emerald green with a little bit of red. Keeping the color cohesive. Just a colors in the color. This is another example of this particular tree that we have standing here. This is a mantle setting, and some people may feel like it needs to be even on both sides, but it doesn't need to be even on both sides. It can be just odd and even. It doesn't need to be exactly the same. So we have a lamp on one side and a tree on the other side, really, and it all works out really good as far as giving it scale and balance is the most important part. In this particular case, we use a slate in the tree. It's wired into the tree and has this gear going up, which is kind of fun. And the next picture shows the bigger version of it out front of it. So we actually use both versions. So don't be afraid to use big things in trees. Oh, the last one. This is a particular tree where we use different ribbons and pillows and blankets. It's a festival tree, it can grow comfy, and they also give some of those items to the homeless shelters too. So that's why we like doing pillows and blankets. So don't be afraid to put water slings in a tree. It fills up and then it's quite much. So with that, we have a little time for questions. If anybody has questions or wants a demonstration on how to do a bowl, she's the pro. But we really appreciate you allowing us to come here. Hopefully we've taught you a few tricks of the trade and a few things that you can take with you that you can slip into place this year very easily. And don't be afraid to try something new. And if you have any questions or need some help with things, come up and see us. We'd love to help you.
Have you guys made any of those gnomes out of tomato cages where you fill it with like branches?
Yes,
Okay.
ours are a little different.
Okay.
So yes, we actually started making, we made them last year and we made them this year. We take a stick and cement it into a pot.
Oh.
So it has a little bit more weight to it. And then wire the green to the pot so that it doesn't go anywhere and has a nice strong base. And then put the hat over the top.
Is there a certain kind of green you would use?
You're going to want to use balsam. It lays flatter and tightens in so that you don't see anything. But by the way we do it, you don't have to try to cover the whole case or bend it in. It covers like
Thank you.
Does everyone know where the Wreath Factory is? Why don't you tell them just to make sure, because it's a wonderful place to see all these things and get ideas just from being there.
We're located just north of Plymouth. It took us about 45 minutes to an hour to get here tonight. We took a little extra time because the deer are really prevalent. So we wanted to make sure we took our time. We have 16,000 square feet of retail space. And if I had to guess, we're probably up to about 40 trees up. We probably have 40 trees up in the showroom of different styles and different antiques and different colors. So different uses of ribbon, different uses of picks, different uses of ornaments. As you see these different big stuff in the trees, just makes it kind of fun and different. And then we have wreath operations that are going, that you can come see a wreath being made. We made wreaths Saturday wreaths. And we do it for the We don't. It's more architectural than it is just something different instead of a tree stand. But that being said, there's all kinds of different things that you can do to cover your thing at the bottom of your. A lot of people think that they need a certain tree skirt for a certain color. Get a blanket from the house, fits the color right. Don't forget about those. Even just old sheets that are the right color. Things like that. Think outside the box. We have left a coupon on your chair to help offer inspiration. And it also has our address and our phone number on. So if you do have questions that come up tomorrow, hey, I always wanted to try this, give us a shout and we will happy to answer any questions. Know that they're on the website. We have a website. If you Google us, we'll pop right up.
So want to take one more question?
It's electric frying pan. Fleet Farm, $9.99. That was a long time. We normally put some underneath it so we don't get it all over. Then it's straight, like cardboard. And then you get some sticks, you can cut them up. If you're first time user of a glue frying pan, every frying pan has a controller. And we've turned ours off so she can hold it up. Now it's very easy to move. We just plug it in. It never gets cleaned up. This is not something you're going to use anything other than this. So, but it has a little controller right here, which you control the heat. If it starts smoking, it's too hot. Turn it down. But it'll, you know, and sometimes the glue will get the little thing stuck. Just give it a little hand. It warms up. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys for coming. We'll also follow up with a link to the presentation. West Bend Community TV is recording it, so you'll get everything in a link, and you can watch the video on YouTube in case you missed it. Okay? All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much.